Morning, everyone. My name is Joe Russo. I am the CEO of the South Florida Tech Association, here with our team to bring you another edition of our morning community coffees. Bright and early, 8 o'clock, ready to go type of show. But this is simply a weekly tech gathering where we can provide some updates, share some best practices, and connect with other local business leaders, community leaders, tech leaders on what we're doing during this time, being all at home, trying to make our own coffee in some cases. But that said, this is of course presented by the South Florida Tech Association, previously Palm Beach Tech, a nonprofit dedicated to building South Florida into a tech hub. Quick shout out to our team that helped make this event possible today. Nikki Caboose, Monica Rojas, Ali Costa, Ronnie Victor, who have been really working tirelessly throughout these last few months to help make sure that our tech community has a support system going on through these last few months. So with that, we are really excited today. We're going to be having a conversation on our local tourism and our South Florida economy with the top three leaders in the tourism industry here in South Florida, from Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade County. So I'm going to really quickly mention their names, and then if you guys want to introduce yourselves after that, I'll do some brief introductions. But first of all, we have Jorge Pesquera, who's the CEO of Discover the Palm Beaches. He is a 45-year travel and tourism industry veteran who joined Discover the Palm Beaches in November 2007 to lead the region's destination marketing organization with an $18 million budget. And it's obviously gone up from then. He's done a wonderful job here in the Palm Beaches. Also, Stacy Ritter is the president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. She has been with the organization since 2016 and is responsible for the administration, oversight, and all of the sales, marketing development for the Leisure International and Sports Convention and Group Sales. So again, all very similar in what these folks do. And then William Talbert, who is the president and CEO of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. He has served for the past 20 years in that position, and previously as the COO for 9 years. Among his accomplishments, Mr. Talbert has assisted in the passage of the Travel Promotion Act of 2010 and has led efforts to win 5 Super Bowls in South Florida area. So that alone ingratiates you to me, sir. So with that, would love to have Jorge, Stacy, and William, if you all want to just briefly introduce yourselves and what your organizations do in that order. And of course, thank you so much for having us or being with us today.
Well, thank you, Joseph, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's not typical that a tech organization invites tourism officials to speak. We're not known to be the most tech savvy folks in the world, but we try. It's my pleasure being here for the last 13 years at Discover the Palm Beaches. It's a blessed part of the world, and we've come a long way since those days. We went through the Great Recession and came out swinging after that. Tourism is a big part of our economy here. It's about a 7.7 billion economic impact, 70,000 jobs, 4 in 10 restaurants, and 1 in 10 retailers. So it's a major part of the economy. It's the second largest generator of economic activity, 12% of the GDP. So we're delighted. We're part of the Tourism Development Council, sister agencies of Cultural Council and Sports Commission and Film and TV Commission and the like. So with that, I'm just gonna let Stacy and Bill tout their wares.
Hi, thank you. Good morning. I'm Stacy Ritter. I'm the CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. I came to tourism on an unusual path. I'm a lawyer by profession. And then I served for 8 years in the Florida House of Representatives before becoming a Broward County Commissioner in 2006 and Broward County Mayor in 2008 and 2009. I took the job here in 2016. And I have to say that it's a wonderful way where I hope I end my career this way. It's a great ending to a career. We are a 41-member organization. We support 180,000 jobs, either directly or indirectly through tourism here in Broward County. with more than 4,000 restaurants and more than 500 hotels. It's the lifeblood of Broward County. It's the #1 economic engine, and it's been an interesting time to lead an organization that is meant to market and promote a destination at a time when very few people are traveling for leisure and even fewer are traveling for business. But it is my pleasure to be here. Anyone who knows me knows that it's not easy to get me up and out by 8 o'clock. Of course, I didn't have to go anywhere. I just walked from my bedroom to my living room, which helped get here on time. And I'm looking forward to the conversation this morning.
Unmute. I am Bill Talbert. I'm President and CEO of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. We're a 501c6. We have a board of directors, 1,200 partners or members. We all have kind of crazy backgrounds. I came from 5 years in women's pro tennis and 16 years before that with county government. But we're here at the Bureau. We're all gone through this stuff, but we've been through Zika, we've been through hurricanes, we've been through the Gulf oil spill. So I think South Florida is better prepared than the rest of the country, if not the world, to deal with these kind of things. I mean, there's nothing that, there's no playbook for this, but we are in a tech business. I mean, one of our subtitles is we're more than a beach. We have 25 miles of great beaches, but we're art and culture, but we're one of the founding investors in Emerge. I think everyone here knows Emerge. Joseph, I think you know Emerge, and Emerge will be back April 26th through 27th at the new reimagined Miami Beach Convention Center. So tech is important to us. You know, everybody is a customer. So thank you for listening. I look forward to the Q&A on this. So thank you, Joe.
Of course, and thank you for everyone for joining us today. But I know everyone hit on it a little bit, but tourism is a vital part of Florida's economy. And with that, you don't just have technology, you have a lot of different industries. And, with that, you have, like, as you said, Emerge Americas, that is part of both, as part of tourism, as part of technology. But maybe you can each speak to how vital tourism is to our economy, and maybe what overlaps there are with technology in that in that process. So want to start in order again? That's fine. We can go Jorge on down and take it from there.
Sure, Joseph. I mean, it's fundamental. Everything starts with a visit. Other than all those big figures of $7-8 billion in economic impact and 51 billion or 5 billion in direct spending or all that kind of stuff, 225 hotels and campgrounds and all that, it really goes beyond that, because the part of the reason why South Florida has become such a hot place for recruiting talent is because of the quality of life that we have down here. And corporations and universities are recruiting staff and students because of that. And a lot of that component is based on tourism, the tourism assets that we have. What would Palm Beach County be without the Breakers or the Boca Raton Resort and Club or other wonderful attractions, Lion Country Safari, the Murakami Museum, and so forth. So I think that, the reason why we've successfully been able to recruit high-tech, bio life science industries like Scripps and Max Planck and so forth is because of the quality of life that is integral or integrated or interconnected with the tourism industry. It is part of our DNA. We have trademarked the phrase America's first resort destination, and that is because this is where tourism in the grand scale and the grand style really got started in the state of Florida. So that's a short answer to your question.
Well, tourism is the #1 economic engine here in Broward County. We've got several. We've got the airport, we've got Port Everglades. We have a new transportation tax that will allow us to put in hundreds of millions of dollars of transportation infrastructure here in Broward County. But if it weren't for tourism, then the county wouldn't be evolving and growing to the diverse place that it is. I mean, when I moved here in 1974, Broward County was overwhelmingly white, overwhelmingly conservative, and overwhelmingly East Side. And today we speak over 100 languages here in Broward County and households here in Broward County. And we are a fabric that works together into the most beautiful tapestry So, and if it weren't for tourism, where people came to visit here first and then decided to make their homes here and their lives here, then it wouldn't have happened. We have about 13 million visitors every year. As I said, 180,000 jobs, direct or indirect. So I don't know if you can hear one of my dogs. Sorry about that. The joys of working from home. They spend over $8 billion here. We encourage technology is one of the verticals for our group conference business. We go after tech business. Of course, conventions have changed these past several months, and we don't know when they'll be coming back to what they were. That if it weren't for tourism and the money that's spent, that ripples through the economy, so people have jobs, they can pay their bills, they can put food on their table, they can buy clothes, they can take vacations of their own, and that unfortunately has changed dramatically in the last 4 months. But from a CVB perspective, though, if it weren't for technology, we wouldn't be able to do the marketing and promoting we're doing right now to the world on a softer scale. Thanks to technology, we can reach people that we could never have reached before in an instant.
Well, in Miami, the brand that we sell, it just like other areas of South Florida, travel and tourism is the #1 industry. It always was, and it always will be. It supports more jobs than any other industry, but we support diversification. That's why we were an original investor in Emerge America. That wouldn't have been in our wheelhouse years ago, but diversification is important. But some of this is, we're going to talk about the past, but the access that the world has to South Florida is unmatched any place in the world. We're the easiest place to get in and out of 3 international airports, cruise capital of the world with our 3 ports. So a lot of great things. There's some of this is in the past, and we will get back to where we were in the past. But MIA before this pandemic was the only airport in the country served by more than 100 airlines. It was 109. Nobody else had that. We're a big event town, but we're also more than a beach. We're art and culture, and we have evolved with the whole neighborhood program. What's the dog's name, Stacy? So we can.
That's Fraser.
Fraser. Hi, Fraser.
That's Fraser. Yeah.
Hi, Fraser.
His sister's lazy, but
we love the dog. But it's
okay.
We're fortunate enough to have a new reimagined convention center on Miami Beach with a 6-acre park across from it, and a convention center district that includes a new World Center and an approved 800-room attached headquarter hotel. And that will happen. So we're back in the convention business. We have, as our partners do, the sports program is part of the Bureau. Art and culture is part of the Bureau. And we have evolved over the last 5 years a multicultural department that's into the neighborhoods. When we all travel, we all know the bedrock places to go in cities, but we all want to see the neighborhoods, history. Miami is the only place in the U.S. with 2 national parks. We're physically larger than 2 states, a population bigger than 15 states. So Miami just itself is big. It's diverse. It has density. It has nightclubs, yeah, but it has art and culture. It has neighborhoods. Back in the convention business, but the #1 business. None of our communities will be what they are today without tourism in the past and tourism in the future.
Good points all around too. With that, we talked just generally about tourism, but maybe we can speak to how the tech industry also influences tourism. Obviously, there's Emerge Americas in Miami, Broward, IT Palooza for a number of years at the convention center there. And in Palm Beach, there's been a number of events over the years that have either leveraged some national or, on occasion, some local technology efforts. But we'll start with you in terms of, what some of the technology industry and just worldwide innovation type of events and people have come to Miami and how you might have worked with them, just to kind of get a little bit of a flavor of what that overlap is between the tech industry and tourism.
where you going to start? You want to start south to north?
We'll start south to north this time around. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, thank you. We leverage, obviously. We're all in sales. But we leverage the fact that Emerge Americas is in Miami, and it grew from nothing to this monster, and it will get back to that. But when we have a number of our convention salespeople, in fact, I think most of our convention sales staff is, hi Brandy, hi Sonia, hi Joe, are on this call. But we leverage, obviously, the Emerge Americas program, just like we do with Art Basel and Design Miami. You know, these high profile items, Super Bowl, Emerge Americas, Art Basel, Design Miami, and the cruise shipping show, which is back. But we leverage those. You know, everybody wants to know who's there, so we have a list of those who have said yes. And so and it's, once again, whether it's our brand Miami or the whole South Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach, I mean, we're going to get back to where we were. This is not over. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. There's probably another question. We just don't know when. But we leverage all of the tech, and we have some of our tech, and we are a strong partner with our DMO here. Our DMO here is the Beacon Council. We are a strong partner with Greater Miami Beaches Hotel Association. Wendy is here. I think we all live in the partnership area. None of us, you know, in the past, some people tried to do it alone. You can't do that anymore. You got to leverage people. You got to leverage resources. You got to leverage relationships. So our relationship with the DMO, the Destination Marketing Organization here, the Beacon Council, led by Mike Finney, we stole him from Michigan. That partnership is as strong as it's ever been. In fact, Mike Finney and myself have been designated by our county mayor to kind of lead an effort in this recovery, particularly with small businesses. That's another thing. You know, most of our communities are a conglomeration of small businesses. So we have pivoted, whether it's in our multicultural tourism program or partnership program. We launched, I think everybody knows Miami Spice, but early on in this, in March, we launched called Miami Eats, when you could take out or have delivery, That program started with 320 small restaurants, and today it's 1,300 restaurants. So we try and section this stuff off in little pieces and make a difference in some industries while we get back to whatever the new normal is going to be. Thank you.
Stacy?
Thank you. Thank you. We work, Bill's right. You can't do this without partnerships. We work very closely with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, which is the business arm of Broward County government. It's a public-private partnership. And by the way, my CVB is 100% county agency. I work for Broward County. I'm a Broward County employee, as everyone else at the CVB. So the three CVBs have different structures and different funding streams, which most people don't know. But we work very closely with the Alliance to bring tech businesses and other businesses here. We show them around the destination. We encourage them to come here on vacation. And then again, there are so many people who come here on vacation and then decide that they want to live here and move their businesses here. That's how we got here. My father took a family vacation, as I said, in 1974 to Fort Lauderdale. And we spent a week on the beach. We lived in suburban Chicago. 6 months later, we were here, and he decided he wanted to move the family and the business here. We encourage that at the Greater Fort Lauderdale CVB in cooperation and in partnership with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance. We believe that the number one stakeholder we have is our community, is our residents. And if your resident doesn't buy into what you do, then you might as well hang it up. So we spent a great deal of time communicating with the residents, talking to the residents, reaching out to the residents, using the residents as ambassadors so that when they talk to their family and friends, they can talk about the destination as well, but not just the destination from a vacation standpoint, the destination from the standpoint of a place to move and make it your residency. That's how Magic Leap got here. Magic Leap is a huge part of the Broward County community, and they're super invested in tech. So it all, while we work in different market segments, there's a technology segment, there's a medical segment, there's the leisure segment. They all weave together and interconnect and overlap because no one can do it without the other. We really are greater together, which is, by the way, a tagline that we use here at the GFL CVB. We really are greater together, and we believe that, and we live that here in Broward County.
Well, clearly Stacy has paid attention to all those CDME classes because that focus on residents has become a big deal these days. You know, we have been great admirers of Destinations International and some of the things that they've been doing lately, and some of the thought leadership they provided. And this focus on creating the or conveying the notion that destination marketing and destination organizations should become a shared community value is an important new way of thinking. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, yes, we all go after tech organizations to hold their meetings and events here. South Florida Tech can be an influence. You can be a destination champions for the three of us, helping us bring those events here from around the country and around the world. It's important. But I'll take a little slight a different twist at the tech integration with hospitality, and that is that we've become adopters of technology, particularly on the side of marketing. I remember 13 years ago, our media plan was based on going through a catalog of Visit Florida opportunities and co-oping with Visit Florida on print ads. And today it's all about programmatic digital ads. And, you know, Lord knows how that really works, but they tell me it works, and I think it works. You know, we were one of the early adopters of a thing called Arrivalist, which puts a pixel on your digital ads and figures out when somebody in New York or Long Island, you know, actually gets here and tracks that journey. Visa View and Travel Click for forecasting purposes. A more sophisticated Smith Travel research reporting. CVent, from a meetings perspective, provides reams and reams of amazing information. And Nolan with the CTAP, with the TAP report in terms of forecasting your group dynamics into the convention center and destination-wide areas. So those are just some of the areas where we have evolved as destination organizations more into the tech world. And I think a lot of those companies that have become rather significant also hold events and look at us in a way as not just clients, but also places to hold their events and vacations.
And, you know, I'm following along in the chat here a little bit together, and something that keeps on going is the hashtag Greater Together. So big fan of that. We're going to look out for that one a little bit more. So let's dive in a little bit into the deep end here now, you know, and talk about, of course, COVID and how the tourism industry is coping here now today. And of course, you know, moving forward, you know, we obviously took a hit. You know, a lot of the major events, a lot of the big things have been either canceled or pushed back. But, you know, I think we do have a lot to look forward to, a lot to hope for, because we are one of a kind here in South Florida. We really do live in an amazing place that is second to none in so many different areas. But that said, you know, just simply put, how do the effects of COVID really affect our tourism industry, and how does that compare maybe with other areas in the country and the world that we compete against? And
Joe, let me just quick pivot to an event, and then I'll shut up. I think all of us are looking at what assets do we have, what business do we have, whether it's nothing, we don't cancel anything, maybe we reschedule or we postpone, but we have the 24th annual American Black Film Festival next week in Miami. Now it is pivoted, we hate that word, to a virtual show, but it will run from August 21st through August 30th. That's Jeff Friday and his wife, Nicole. And that's the 24th annual. And that is a regional, but the American Black Film Festival is basically here forever in Miami and South Florida. So we're making a lot out of that event that's here. We've done some promotion for it. We've done a promotional video, but taking the events we have, once again, we mentioned Basel and Design Miami. We did come off a Super Bowl. Thank you, region, February 2nd. I guess I wouldn't want to be Tampa now. And we have, we have the college football championship in South Florida in January of 2021. So, a lot of the stuff you see is about, we're this and that. And I'm in the good news business. So we sell what's good about our destinations, what's good about our business, not the negative stuff. People report on the negative stuff. Let them keep doing it. Once again, I'm telling you, we're going to be fine. We just don't know when, but sell, sell, sell.
I agree with Bill, but I also think it's important for the people who live here to recognize how much this has impacted the way of life for the people whose livelihood is and will be again in tourism. Most people don't think they know anyone in tourism, but if you know someone who works in a hotel, who works in a retail shop, who works at an attraction, obviously a hotel, but those people all are in contact with our visitors. Those are our ambassadors. And when a restaurant shuts down or a retail shop shuts down and those people lose their jobs, it has an impact not just on that person and that family, but an impact on the tourism business as well. Fewer places for visitors to go, fewer things for visitors to see, shorter hours for visitors to be there. We've had a lot of talk in our restaurants here about the fact that we have an 11 o'clock curfew. Well, that means that the restaurants have to close at 10 so that their workers can get home, which means the last seating is at 8. Well, that's not really great for business on a Friday or Saturday night. Most people want to eat later on the weekend. So, hotels are running below pre-pandemic rates, the occupancy. And while I believe with Bill that we will come back, and I think our destination will come back faster than others because we are a spread out destination. We have 23 miles of beach. You can go hang out and not be close to or in contact with anybody. Unlike major cities like New York City and San Francisco, I think they're going to have a harder time. This was a wake-up call, I think, for all of us that we've had hurricanes, we've had Zika, we've had natural disasters, but we've never had anything quite at this level. 9/11 wasn't like this. 9/11 was a one-day event, and for 9/11, people wanted to get back to travel. They felt it was patriotic to get back on an airplane after 9/11. It's a different mentality these days, and we have to recognize and be sensitive to the fact people aren't going to get back on an airplane yet. They may get in a car. We do a lot of marketing to the drive market, and fortunately, Florida is a big state, so there's lots of places that we can market to for them to come here. 20 million people live here in the state of Florida. That's an advantage for us for the drive market. But and you continue to sell. You just sell differently. It's not a hard sale. You're not hitting people over the head with it. You're letting them know that we're ready when they're ready, that we are here when they are here, and that we are still here and we still are open for business, recognizing that some of the rules have changed.
It's always terrible to be third. Just to echo what Stacy's saying here, we were all on a roll here to have record performance. We were poised for another record year. We've had record years for several years in a row. February was up 9%, and it all came to a screeching halt. It's just terrible. But as Stacy said, there's places that are in a lot worse shape. We fortunately have a good balance, a diversification between the leisure market and the meetings market and the individual business market. And with that, we have a lot of the ingredients that folks are looking for as the first place to visit: the wide open spaces, the natural areas, the beaches, and so forth. So I think what we've had to do here is to move from being marketers to being community information providers, to be honest, truthful, and transparent, to really focus on regaining the trust of not only the traveling public, but the residents, because we become a very focal, clear point of information. I know that both Stacy and Bill mentioned their collaboration with their economic development organizations. We work very closely also with the Business Development Board. They travel with us to pitch to conferences, to come to the Palm Beaches, and I think that collaborative spirit in South Florida, which has become greater through some of the initiatives that HICO and others have started with the chamber collaboration and so forth, bode well for our future. We are a resilient group of folks down here. I think we're more in tune with resiliency and with fighting these asteroids that are thrown in our direction with the Zikas and the hurricanes and the blue-green algae of the world than most other destinations around the country. So I agree with Bill. We're going to come out of this swinging and doing well in the future.
Awesome. And with that, we got a nice question here from Sky Sherman, who was actually talking about instead of convention or tourism travelers, maybe long-term visitors to South Florida who are looking to have a change of pace during COVID. And, was curious about what you all are seeing on that, maybe what you're targeting on that. And more than just that, maybe what the work from home programs or the maybe the co-work type programs are around here right now, since people can work from anywhere, especially in the tech industry where you're only really just limited by your internet bandwidth, right? So I don't know if you all seen anything or tapped into any of that, but curious where the long-term visitor or the Airbnb type folks who will be here for a couple months, where that kind of fits in with your strategy, if at all.
You want to start from the north?
Yeah, we'll start from the north. Stacy, you're always in the middle here. We gotta.
I'm the rose between two thorns. Are you
That's
kidding?
right. That's right.
I'm used to it. It's fine.
So, go. Why don't we start with Stacy this time?
Yo, let's do it.
Okay. Well, Stacy forgot the question.
Like long-term visitors, people who are trying to get a change of pace to their locale.
Well, Broward County's lucky in that we actually collect a tax for those sharing from those sharing companies. So we market and promote the Airbnbs and the VRBOs of the world, just like we do our hotel product. And since we're not a member-based organization, we are free to do that without having to worry that one of our partners may be upset. One of our partners may be upset anyway, but we're non-membership based, and because we're 99% funded by the tourist development tax, and since Airbnbs pay the tourist development tax now, which is otherwise known as the bed tax, we're happy to market and promote them. We've always had lots of long-term residents here in Broward County, particularly from Canada, and mostly staying in Hollywood, at Hollywood Beach. So it hasn't changed for us, but what has changed is being sensitive to the fact that there are people who aren't going to come here right now. There are people who aren't going to come to the States. And there are people who especially aren't going to come to Florida because when they go home, they may have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And I know that Todd Stone had asked a question, had suggested not to abandon the drive markets. Not to abandon other markets. Nobody's abandoning other markets, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to spend time and money in the Northeast right now when New Yorkers aren't going to come here because when they go home, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks. It's unfortunately the same for us, for many states across the country right now. That doesn't mean you stop. It just means that you change the way you do things and you shift your resources, which have become much more difficult to get. I mean, we cut our budget by $8 million for the next fiscal year. We're going from a $22 million agency to a $14 million agency as a result of COVID. So you have to change how you do things, and you have to better prioritize how you spend your money. But God, please come here for 6 months. Please come here for 4 months. We're happy to have you, and we're happy to market and promote those companies that want you to come here for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I think the change in work dynamics and people staying from home are going to impact the way we do business for a while. The whole shift to drive markets, as Stacy mentioned, is critical right now. The fact that kids may not be going to school in a regular way will allow them to maybe accompany their parents for a weekend or midweek mini vacation and still be able to study from the hotel room that all have great Wi-Fi capabilities. So we're going to see a lot of changes in the coming months and years. The days of conferences that do not have a virtual component, I think, are over. I think we're going to see most everything go into a hybrid mode, and we're going to have to be prepared to provide the appropriate platform for those conferences and conventions to succeed in the new era. So those are some of the thoughts from our side.
And just if I might go back to that change in how we work is going to have a significant impact on the economy here, because as more people realize they don't have to work in office buildings, we're working for the first time from home. Now, most of us now, as a county agency, working from home was unheard of. You had to be in the government center. You had to be in the government building. We've now realized that you don't have to do that. You can work from home and get your work done, get the job done. And I think that's going to impact who's working from downtown, who's working in offices, what the cost of that office space will be, because it will be significantly reduced. I mean, this has an effect that is, we don't even know today what we're going to look like 6 months from now, because when you look at how we are today, 6 months ago, we never thought we would be here. But it definitely has effects in all of our, whether it's our personal or our professional lives. But I think one of the benefits has been the ability to be able to work from home. And that cuts down on people's expenses to some extent.
Well, way down. So, I mean, you can look at me right now and you have no idea where I am. And you probably don't care where I am. So we've got our brand. We partner with Wendy's on this call. We have Airbnb in Miami, outside of Miami Beach. And while we don't promote them, we do get the tax collection is the same as a hotel room. So it's an important partner in terms of money to the Bureau. I mean, we're all into the drive market. You know, I think what Stacy just said, whatever we say today, it's going to change, may change tomorrow. But the one thing I'll say again, I know for certain, long term, we're going to be okay. We just don't know when that is. Now, this thing, as opposed to Zika or hurricanes, is global. This is one of the few things we've ever been in. Hurricanes are, South Florida. Thank God it goes up other places. Zika was here, oil spill was here, but this is global. So, but we have sinners in Miami that aren't following the rules, and that costs us. And we close and we open, not because we want to, because the people aren't following the rules. And so the rules are for everybody and about jobs. So it's this is evolving. We don't know, and I'll say my piece on conventions. If there was ever a place to have social distancing, it's a 1 million square foot convention hall. Really, think about it. That's ideal for social distancing. 1 million square feet. That's my meetings line. So thank you for listening.
Well, yeah, that should be interesting to see if we could get, a few people in a 1 million square foot convention center and just see how many fit out with a 10-foot space around.
Maybe Emerge Americas next year can do that in April.
There's some fun mathematics and all that too, I'm sure. With that, I do want to shift over to local for a second. There's been a few folks who've been bringing this up in the chat to hit on how locals factor into our South Florida economy. Of course, we talk about restaurants with tourism and a lot of the other things that you can do, either go out into the outdoors, spend some time kind of out there in the community, of course, social distancing, but how much that local buying power really is to make up for this lack of tourism right now, because there are businesses hurting, there are people that are hurting. So, curious what you're seeing local communities do to kind of help their tourism industries out. and maybe some tips for those who are listening who want to be a helping hand with that as well.
Stacy?
Okay. So the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, which again is our economic development arm here in Broward County, has put together a campaign called the SOB campaign, Supporters of Broward. So for those of you who thought it meant something else, shame on your dirty little minds. SOB means Supporter of Broward. We've partnered with them, Visit Lauderdale, which is the shorter name. So I'll just say Visit Lauderdale for the GFL-CVB from now on. Visit Lauderdale's partnered with them. And the idea is to communicate to residents how important they are to the local economy here. So we've got lots and lots of businesses that have signed up to be part of the SOB campaign. You'll see signs all over the place in restaurants: eat like an SOB, dress like an SOB, talk like an SOB, which a lot of people think I do anyway, before this campaign. It's a way to get locals to recognize how important they are to the economy here. In addition, Visit Lauderdale has always put together summer programs. This year they're called Lauderdales. They started earlier this year. Restaurant Month is earlier this year, where we encourage our restaurants, and I know that we all have one. Each one of the three of us has a restaurant type deal in the summer to encourage local residents to go to the local restaurants. I think one of the saddest things that has happened, aside from obviously the number of deaths that we've had here in this country, is that you've seen your most favorite restaurant go out of business. You've seen your favorite little boutique close up and not come back. As residents, and as someone who is fortunate enough to have a job right now in this environment, we encourage everybody to go shop local. Go to your favorite small business and keep them up and running during these incredibly difficult economic times for them. And the SOB campaign has been a great way for us to do that. So we're happy to partner with them. We also communicate with our 31 municipalities. We have 31 cities here in Broward County, many of whom are tourist destinations, some of whom would like to be tourist destinations. And so you just have to keep them engaged and involved. But again, this goes back to your number one stakeholder being your resident, and having them recognize how important they are. 2 million people live here in Broward County. We are also larger than some states. Our economy is larger than some countries. And that can help keep us going until the visitor comes back. And like Bill said, we know they're coming back. Unfortunately, none of us has a crystal ball to exactly know when, but you just have to be prepared.
Let me pivot. If you look at our backgrounds from all the Miami Bureau folks that are on this, you see on the upper right-hand corner, the Miami Shines program. That was created by the GMCVB in April. And it is the umbrella for both the residents, but for Miami Eats, which we created then, early Miami Spa, early all of our programs, and particularly the small business programs. But if you go to our website, gmcvb.com, that's an easy one, gmcvb.com, you can see some of the vignettes we've done with local hotels and talking to their customers. Why are you here? What do you like about here? We've done 4 or 5 of those hotel vignettes and neighborhood vignettes. But Miami Shines, it's an umbrella. And I can tell you that our DMO, our EDO, the Beacon Council, adopted immediately the Miami Shines. That logo, that logo is on their stuff too. So a connection between the DMO and EDO, forget which is which, but the Miami Shines was created. We had a different one after 9/11, and this one, we turn it on and we turn it off based on local incidents. But that's the little horsey we're riding right now.
Yeah, I think beyond all those programs that are wonderful, the Restaurant Month and the Spa Month and all that kind of stuff, I think what has made us more able to weather the storm is the several years that we have been going out into the community, speaking at chamber events, at historical society events, at leadership events of all sorts, and giving the folks an understanding of the impact of the tourism industry, and giving them also a call to action, which is basically, number one, use the power of a personal invitation. You know, that long lost cousin that you have in Milwaukee or in Long Island, bring him down here. Staycations are here to stay. You know, there were folks in some circles out there that thought that we could not promote locally. And the fact of the matter is we are big enough as a region and big enough even as a county that we should be able to be successful with the local staycation promotions. And the idea of destination champions, which is empowering business, government, and community leaders to wave the flag of our destination to bring conferences and events to our area. So those three simple actions that we've been hammering at many different events throughout the Palm Beaches, I think have put us in a good position as it pertains to going through this crisis in a better way.
Let me, I agree with that. And in the chat line, when Stacy said that early on, you know, we updated our strategic plan in the last year. And 5 years ago when we did it, we had 5 community meetings. This time we had 15. And the difference in the 5 and the 15, we found the energy in the community, the interest in the community, the partnerships in the community, that energized us as much as those neighborhoods. So I agree with both of you, reaching out to the communities, our neighborhoods. Remember, we're small businesses, and people who work in our industry live in every zip code in the county. They live west and they work east. So it's we learned a lot in that strategic plan update, the neighborhoods, the residents.
And in fact, to talk about strategic plans, community engagement is a key pillar of the 5 pillars that we have in our strategic plan. So just to reaffirm Bill's point about this is part of our strategy moving forward.
And we are just about at time here, you know, and with that, I want to thank everybody, of course, but curious if there's any last thought or words of wisdom that anyone would like to share before we call it a day, or really.
Yeah, I think one thing we haven't talked about, and it's important to the region, and there's a lot of uncertainty. You know, we're collectively the cruise capital of the world. And right now, if there's any segment that's challenged, it's that I think the convention stuff, we'll get through that because of adjustments. But the cruise industry right now is trying to figure out how, as an industry, global industry, and we're the cruise capital of the world in South Florida. So we're working with our cruise partners as they work with the CDC and how they're going to be different. It's an important business segment for South Florida that, you know, a lot of us, including me, you know, I would say we took it for granted. But our downtown hotels, you know, that's an important, and Wendy's on this. So we're all working with our cruise industry. So
that Stacy has the last word, I'm going to jump in. You know, what I would like to finish with is that we all need to do our part. And we missed the opportunity, but we have created something called the Palm Beaches Pledge, which is simply a commitment to health and safety. And it encourages people to mask up, spread out, and sanitize all around. We've asked our businesses and organizations around the county to sign up with the pledge. We've got over 150 so far, and many more are coming on, supported by all the different chambers and leadership organizations. And we've also been the first to establish a program called GBAC, the Global Biorisk Advisory Council Star Accreditation Program, which aims to accredit all the major hotels and tourism infrastructure entities, the convention center, the airport, the ballparks, and so on, to be fully in tune with these rigid standards of sanitation to give people that additional layer of trust and confidence in coming down to the Palm Beaches. And thank you.
I signed the pledge yesterday, Jorge.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, Bill, you have to take ours. You have to take our safe and clean pledge.
I'm ready. We have Miami Beach standards. So, and it's all, remember, you got to be clean and safe. People are only go when there's clean and safe. We have a destination pledge with the Hotel Association. The same thing, clean and safe. people won't go if that's, there it is. There's the pledge. And so we'll go ahead. I'm sorry, Stacy.
Okay. I want to just piggyback on what Jorge started with. 6 months ago, if you'd asked a visitor what being secure and safe meant, they would have probably mentioned something about being on an airplane and going through TSA and how important that was. And today's visitor will tell you that safe means and secure means a completely different thing. And when we talk about taking things for granted, I think all of us took for granted that when you touch a surface, we didn't even think about what that meant. When we scratched our eye or put our hand to our face, none of us even thought twice about what that meant or what that potentially meant. And today, I don't know about you, but every time I put my hand on my face, I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. When did I last wash my hands or sanitize? It's a change in mindset. And because of that change in mindset, which I think is going to be with us for a very, very long time, we've had to change some of the ways we do things. In the past, we probably would not have ever spoken about germs in our marketing and promotion, or how we take care, not to spread germs. But today it has become the #1 priority for the traveler. So it's a change. And again, I think it's here to stay for quite some time. I think we're going to be in this for a while. Vaccines and therapeutics, who knows when they're coming, but they will come. And in the meantime, we just have to market and promote our destinations as being clean and safe and secure for the visitor. That's our #1 priority these days, is for people to know that when they come here, they're going to have a really, really great time, and they're going to come home and they're going to be safe. It's just a different way of doing things.
Well, thank you so much for everybody for joining us. I know everyone's got their masks on now too, speak of, but you guys definitely are kind of, in some thankless jobs right now with everything going on, but I do really appreciate all the work that you put in to help guide our region, help guide our counties through this time. And, hopefully it will put us on a better path in the years to come. So thank you, Jorge. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Bill, for taking some time with us today to talk about tourism, talk a little bit about technology, and most of all, talk about our wonderful South Florida community. So enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you for all who joined us online as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.